All right, welcome back to the Sports Blast here on ESPN New Hampshire and ESPNNHradio.com. Getting back into some Rondo talk here. Mark, I posed a question to you in the break that I want to bring on the air. You think that Rondo is a max contract guy, yes or no?
No.
No, I would agree.
I don't think he is, because in today's NBA, you need every single category. He doesn't have the points category.
Can't score.
He can't score. He can't shoot the ball.
Terrible shooting.
Terrible free throw shooting, too.
He's shooting, I think, 33% from the free throw line, 40% from the field. He's
I could
averaging
shoot better than
percentage.
8.3 points per game. His defensive prowess has slipped. And also offensively, it's embarrassing how far off him defenders play.
Let me tell you this, though. He fits in well with Dallas because he's the ideal point guard that Dirk Nowitzki needs, Monte Ellis, Chandler Parsons. I mean, Chandler Parsons is a spot-up shooter.
Yeah, isn't Monte Ellis right now the point guard technically for that team?
Right,
no,
so they can move him into the two.
Wasn't Jose Calderon? No, not Jose Calderon. They had somebody else running the point instead of Monte Ellis spot.
Right, but the point is that Rajon Rondo seems to think that he's worth a max contract, and that's kind of what got this all started, because Danny Ainge had approached him for an extension, but as you guys know, the CBA in the NBA is a little convoluted and complicated, and there are certain restrictions on what you can do. You can only sign for a certain number of years, a certain number of dollars. So that's kind of what led to this, where the Celtics were open to giving him an extension, but since he didn't want that, they instead decided to trade him instead of letting him test the free agent waters.
Yeah, I mean, that happens. It's the NBA where contracts are, they're either big or they're small. And with Rondo, he wanted a big contract, so.
All right, 603-883-9900. We've got Bill in Merrimack has a thought on Rajon Rondo. What's up, Bill?
Hey guys, thanks for taking the call, and Merry Christmas. I appreciate it.
Merry Christmas to you too.
The thought is, if you had traded Rondo back when you traded the big three, I think you would have gotten premium for Rondo. And I don't know, I read a lot of different things. Danny Ainge does a pretty good job of playing poker. He's kind of got I hate to compare him to Belichick, but you kind of don't know what he's thinking along the same lines with Belichick. You have no idea what he's thinking. So I think, the fact that he held on to Rondo kind of gives me the impression that he wanted to build around him. But I think the fact that he was too much of a pain in the tuchus in the locker room made him very expendable. I think he had to get what he could for him right now. And the deal that the Mavericks had in place made a lot of sense. He got picks. He got the trade exception. To me, Brandon Wright is probably the most intriguing piece out of the whole trade. I think Jay Crowder is trade bait, like the end of the 60 days, which was a very good point. And there's no draft, and I agree. There's no draft class. I think the question is, does he take a look at a guy like Aldridge, who I think fits what the Celtics are trying to do. I think Brandon Wright's an intriguing piece to put with Olynyk and Sullinger in the post. So this is not going to be a quick fix. I think this is going to be a 2 to 3 year project, and I would say that if you make the playoffs every year as the 8th team, that's nothing but experience that you're giving the kids.
No, that's
and
an
I think
excellent point.
That's a good thing.
That's an excellent point, Bill. I want to go back to something that you said, that if Rajon Rondo was traded when KG and Paul Pierce were, would they have gotten a better return on him? Absolutely, because he had 2 years left on his deal. The reason that they got such a small return on Rajon Rondo this time around was because he had half a year left on his contract. As we just mentioned, he's having a terrible year in terms of his scoring, 8.3 points per game, 40% shooting from the field, 33 from the free throw line. So absolutely, that's why they got such a low return on Rajon Rondo.
But I would argue Rondo's going to be a better player in the Mavericks. I mean, look who's on the Mavericks. I mean, he's going to see an increase in what he dishes out, and he's probably going to see an additional 5 to 8 points a game, I think, as a consequence.
Oh, sure.
That's my take. I think he's a better player on the Mavericks now.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Bill. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Thanks.
So, Mark, any reaction from what Bill had to say?
Yeah, I think Bill brings up a great point. Honestly, they could have got more for Rondo around, when they traded the big three, but at the same time, you didn't know what Rondo was going to become.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. You would have had doubts on the future of what Rondo would have became with the Celtics, and they went with it. Did they, land, in the right spot at the right time with the trade? Yes. So I think they got what they could got.
I think
if they traded him last year.
Oh, of course.
By the trade deadline, they would have gotten more.
Of course, because again, he has a year and a half left on his deal at that point.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah,
That's
but
I
I don't know if you would have gotten any more for him then than you would have right now, because his performance hasn't improved or gotten any worse from last year. So I look at the performance of the player and I say that this is probably the best that you can get, which is why I think it's absolutely ridiculous that he believes that he deserves a max contract.